Hello YouTube, today I will be showing you how to modify the Nerf Maverick Revision 6. It's revolver type. Yep. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is remove all the screws. There's one over here, there, and two more down there. There's also one on the slide right here. And the thing about these screws is that they're different sizes. If you look, the one on the slide is the top one. It's smaller. And the one for the rest of the housing is longer. So keep that in mind. Now also make sure that you unscrew this one and that one, or else the slide will not remove. After you remove those two, the slide will just come off. And you will be left with this. After you remove the slide, make sure you remove that screw. Also, the two screws at the top, they're small. So remove the second half of the gun, and you will be left with the inside and both halves of the slides. Now, take a look at how it looks like right now, because you will need to know how it looks like to put it back together. The first thing we're going to remove is the plunger tube. You take it apart, and you will notice that the O-ring inside is really measly. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna buy one of these sets. You can get them in Home Depot or a hardware store, and it's really cool. It's an assorted O-ring kit box. There's different types of O-rings, and you can use it for different types of guns. It has a size chart, and I will be telling you what size I'm using after I put it on the plunger. So what I normally do is I get a pair of tweezers, like these, and I try to wedge it in between these little holes on the side and pull the O-ring up. Now you risk the chance of damaging the O-ring, but at the same time you have all these at your dispense. A good way to check how good the seal is on your O-ring is to stick your thumb on the hole and push it down. See how hard it is to actually make the plunger compress. If it's not hard, you have a bad seal. So the size that worked best for me was the 267, which is the one up here. And it's in the top right corner. The reason is they're thinner than the other O-rings. You can see a difference between the neck size and this one. Here's a side-to-side comparison. After we put it on the plunger, it'll look similar to the last one that it came with. And after that, we're ready to insert it back inside of the plunger tube. Now, to make it work better, we're going to apply some silicone spray lubricant. I got this blaster from Home Depot, and you're going to want to use 100% silicone. I got this one, it's not 100%. In fact, I don't think this is really that good. Use petroleum distillate, which might not be the best for O-rings. Make sure you don't have petroleum inside of yours. Sometimes it's not the best. Distillate is supposed to be a little safer from what I heard, but I really don't like how it works. After that, you will be able to easily stick the plunger inside the plunger tube and try doing the air test again. It's a lot harder, which means that the seal is better. So what you can actually do is stick the stock O-ring, the one that came with the gun, all the way to the bottom. As you see, I've already done it with mine. Now what that's going to do is it's going to make a slight decrease in the amount of sound your gun makes every time it shoots because of the padding. In addition to that, it will extend the life. It will extend the life of your plunger tube because it's not being hit as hard with the recoil of the spring. To remove the cylinder, you're going to squeeze both sides. It's really hard to do with one hand. Make sure you push the orange thing in. It'll make it a lot easier. When it comes out, it is going to look like that. And that is the cylinder. That's where all the ammo is held. You will then use a hammer to pry this off. Get your hammer and get underneath the this thing. You'll notice that it actually lifts. Once you take it out, you'll notice that there's a rod, and on the other end there will be a spring and a black cap that fall out. Yuck. You will need those, so put them aside. Unscrew the 3 holes. So there's going to be a screw in this one in here, and one back here, over there. I took the screws out already to save time. When you take them off, you will be able to actually disassemble the chamber. These right here are the air restrictors and the rods. So we're going to take all of them off. And when we do, your gun will be able to shoot Steffens and be able to shoot farther as well. Taking them off is a piece of cake. You just pop them off, and you will notice that there are 3 parts. The first part are the air restrictors, the springs. Well, these are actually the air restrictors, and these discs. And these discs will have to be cut. So the first thing you should do is remove the rod. You can do this 2 ways. You can either snip it with a pair of pliers using the cutting end, which is closer towards the back, right over here. Or you can just Dremel it out, actually, which is what I normally do. The things just come right off. Now, what a Dremel is, it's a rotary tool, and you can get different attachments. So try to find a drill bit, something preferably small. We're going to want to drill right in the middle. And I'll show you how that looks like in a second. With the air restrictors off, or with the actual peg off, and a drill hole, it will look like that. You can buff out the little piece of plastic, but I usually don't. And then you got 5 more to go. So just cut out these 5 rods and drill away. Yep. After you're done, it'll look like that. And you will line the screw holes with those. Push them down, you're good to go. And put the screws back in. And we're done with our barrel. Yup. The next thing we're going to do is remove this nub. This is the front of the, the rod thing that was holding the cylinder. You're going to take the rod out, and you're going to either use a fine file. Maybe fine grain isn't best. You can use any file, maybe even a Dremel, and you're going to sand that down till it's flat. And I will show you how that looks like in a little bit. And there's how it'll look like when it's done. And this will actually allow the cylinder to slide out like a revolver. The next thing we're going to do is remove this little yellow piece. Now, this is the piece I'm talking about right here. You want to sand it or file it. I'm going to use my Dremel, but make sure that you do not damage this hex, or else your gun will not rotate. And that will not be awesome at all. Like, yeah, it'll be a single shot at that point. So just sand that piece out, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. When you're done, it will look like that. Try to get as close to the bottom as possible. Now to test it, we are going to take this piece again. This piece. This piece. And this black piece, and that spring that I just lost over here. Flip this upside down, stick the spring inside, put the little black cap on top. You're going to flip it over, but before you do that, stick this rod through this hole. Make it look like that. And I'm going to stop filming right now and show you what it will look like when I'm done. I had to actually use the hammer that we use to hammer this back in. Okay, so to test it, you're going to put this into the body how it was. You're going to want to stick these inside of it. Stick those inside of those holes. I'll show you how they look like in a bit. You want to push that orange thing in and try to line it up with a hexagonal hole, and everything should fall back into place. Once everything's back into place, just press the knob in the back, or the button, and if thing can swing out completely like that, then your sanding was a success. If not, then just sand that down a little more till it's flat. If it's not flat, it's not gonna allow the mechanism to pass. The last part of the mod is to take 5 pennies, and you will put them at the end of this. Be sure not to damage them, because the US government will come after you and they will arrest you. Nah, okay. Then we take the plunger, make sure that this side is at the bottom. Crap. Make sure that this side is at the bottom, and that the bigger side is on the top, because this is what pulls it back. The smaller side will be on the bottom. You see this little latch? It'll go in like this. I'm going to stick the spring behind it and slide into place. it will slide into place, and I will show you what that looks like in a second. Before you actually put it into place, do notice that this has a little rib that you want to stick into this slot on the orange. See that little raised piece? That'll keep it from, that'll just make it work. And also put the barrel back into place. If you don't put the barrel into place, then it's going to look weird. When it's put back together, it will look exactly like that. And after that, you're done. You may put the top shell back on, screw it on, and try out your gun. If it fires, you did it right. If it doesn't, you screwed up somewhere, and feel free to leave a comment. I'll try to help you as much as I can. But note that I do not fix Nerf guns normally, so what I tell you might not be exactly correct. Yeah, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want. If you don't, you can't not wanna. So yeah, subscribe. Later.